Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Ulysse Nardin Maxi Marine Chronometer. You can see this 18-karat yellow gold timepiece on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. You can also click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this watch with accessories included, additional high-resolution images, and naturally complete pricing information for this watch. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this Maxi Marine chronometer is of the latter production, not the original 2003 Maxi Marine, which debuted with a 41mm case. This one is a full 43, and it really opens up that dial, giving the watch a little bit more wrist stance, a little bit more of a contemporary presence, and making the most of the power of the contrast between that huge black dial and the bright yellow gold of the case. Now in terms of absolute thickness, it's actually pretty slim. On the wrist, a complicated sports watch, only 12mm thick. Now from lug to lug, it's not immense, but it does have a little bit of an ergonomic quirk to it. You can see 49mm from lug to lug, but you'll also notice that I'm not pulling the strap taut around my wrist. And that's because the unique hinge-style lugs do have a little bit of rigidity built into them. Sometimes I speak of virtual flare to a strap, that is the strap that can't simply be pulled straight down, perpendicular to the flank of the case around a smaller wrist. This is definitely one of those. This is a watch that wears, one might say, akin to something like a 42mm Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore on the hornback alligator strap. So the strap itself does have an immense amount of substance to it. You can see the sheer cut, just how thick it is from this flanking view. It is very substantial, and it doesn't have much of a tendency to bend or curve around the wrist until you get quite a good distance from the lugs. Now the look of integration is peerless. If you have a larger wrist and you like gold, this is about as powerful and aesthetic as it gets. The black dial, the black strap, the full integration that sees the straps swell and taper into the shape of the lug from overhead as well as profile means that aesthetically there's very little that can match this watch in the sports watch sector. You just have to have the wrist for it. But everything that touches the wrist is impressive. That strap feels like, honestly, it could suspend a tank. And the bottom line is that it's matched to a clasp that's as rich, beautifully finished, and sensuously designed as any you'll see in the industry. Like the case constructed in-house by Ulysse Nardin, it's completely finished inside with a small amount of satin finish and a tremendous amount of high polish. There's absolutely no remnant of the machining or the stamping. You'll also note, double deployant, here's where the watch actually comes to the aid of smaller wrists. So you don't have that one big up and over that can pinch skin with a single fold. Moreover, a very clever twin trigger system turns the swing arm for the clasp into a spring, so you do have the security of trigger release, not friction fit. It can't pop open, and that's important on a very heavy sports watch like this. Additional security is exactly what you want from a clasp. Now the watch itself has an immense case, 43mm across, of course, 12mm thick. It might not sound as imposing as something like a 45mm Hublot Big Bang or a 44mm Royal Oak Offshore, but it has so many strong character lines built into the lugs, the knurling of the bezel, the strong horizontals of the case, and of course the fact that when you look at it from overhead, it's almost all dial, with that golden halo of bezel falling away, putting the focus on the center. The watch has the wrist impression of a far larger timepiece. Now it's also important to note that because the lugs are so massive, they add quite a bit of heft to the watch, so the watch does wear physically as a larger timepiece in terms of precious metal pull. Now in 2003, Ulysse Nardin took its modern day reincarnation of its marine chronometers. First released in 1996 as a wristwatch, the concept was evolved with the Maxi Marine in 2003 to include full luminescence, a larger case, a bigger wrist presence, again to align the collection a little bit more to rival the likes of the Royal Oak Offshore, and that's what Ulysse Nardin accomplished. There's a beautiful railroad style Rayhaut that's actually part of a sloped portion transitioning from the bezel to the black dial base. All of the stylized Roman numerals are yellow gold, but they're also fully loomed. So this watch, in conjunction with the fully loomed pair hands at center, is very easy to read in low light or no light. You can put it on a textile strap or bracelet, and you can wear it in the water because it's also 200 meters water resistant, staying true to Ulysse Nardin's seafaring heritage. Now there is a small change here from the base 2892A2 caliber. Ulysse Nardin calls this one the caliber 26, and here are the changes that are made. Ulysse Nardin essentially takes the base caliber and ramps it up from 21 joules to 28 joules, adding their own 22 karat gold high efficiency winding rotor, but also their own power reserve module, so that you can see the entire 42-hour power reserve passing in the same physical layout as the company once used on its shipboard marine chronometers. Now, there is a whole bunch of underlying virtue in the 2892 caliber, in as much as you do get it in chronometer grade, the highest grade delivered by ETA. You get a quick set function for the date window at 6 o'clock, so you can rapidly correct the watch should it run down. And of course, when you pull the crown, you do hack the balance, stop the seconds, and allow precise synchronization to a known accurate reference time. The watch is historically evocative, but it's very contemporary in its size, its feel, its fit, and its finish. You can see it, and you can buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com.